Welcome, beautiful divine masculine. And feminine darlings. This is the Seraph M. Gem Gypsy, Seraphe Indigo Empress, and Shiloh Horizon. And I'm not planning to be here for too long, but I do have some downloads, some past life regression, some dream prophecy stuff to go over, so let's do that. I'll put my hair up and out of my face. You know, we're about to get into something serious and mean business. Also, let's pack a bowl for the journey. What an adventure. So first and foremost, this seems to, some of this piggyback on some karmic energies that I picked up a few days ago. There was a karmic male and his mom, and his mom has been enabling him and helping him target a divine feminine for years. And he went to his mom and he said that he was nervous. He said that he was concerned that divine feminine was basically going to fillet him in court. And his mother was questioning him and saying, well, if you did nothing wrong, then what would you be concerned about? And he had to confess that he hadn't been honest at all, or entirely honest in some cases, about what happened, how things played out, or his hand in a situation. And so as he's admitting his guilt to his mother, she's realizing and says this to him: that means we targeted an innocent divine feminine, meaning if you weren't the victim that you claimed to be, that means you told me whatever you thought I needed to hear in order to get me to help you with whatever it was that you were asking me to do with you or for you. And what you were asking me to do is help back you up when it came to targeting this divine feminine or spinning a cover story to cover it up. So she's realizing in that she was an accomplice to his crimes against divine feminine and possibly her children, divine feminine's children. So that was from the other day. However, I think yesterday maybe, or the day before, I also picked up another channel. Might have been 2 days ago. 322. This is one I have not shared. And again, this seems to be piggybacking potentially on that last situation. Not in all cases, but at least in one or some, as a baseline example. All right. This was a karmic mother, karmic female mother, or the mother of a karmic, who chose to be karmic with him. So what does that make her? Rhetorically speaking, the answer is a karmic with him. I hear it ran in the family. And so she claims to be Christian or Catholic, but she helped raise a rapist, an abuser, this person who was targeting the divine feminine, her son, who she realized she was an accessory in supporting his crimes. His crimes against this divine feminine are abuse of her in many different ways, and possibly again her children. And that's what this karmic male's mother helped him cover up, supported him in continuing to do, enabling him in doing. She's an accomplice. And I hear somebody questioning on the flip side, trying to give her grace and credit. Well, maybe she didn't know. Oh, she knew, because the divine feminine told her with evidence, but she chose cognitive dissonance instead. What cognitive dissonance is a psychology term where, that's a good idea, thank you. Let's pull some cards on this too. 622 while I channel. It's a psychology term and it references, it references somebody who believes something, whether it's about a situation or a topic, maybe even about themselves. Maybe it's that they're refusing to believe something because it means they have to change their perception. It means they have to realize that maybe they were wrong about something and adjust. And they would rather convince themselves and other people that they're right than acknowledge that they're wrong so that they can course correct in order to be correct. So you present somebody like this is very common with narcissism, with facts and evidence, even screenshots and things like that, just incontrovertible evidence, something that will absolutely hold up in a court of law, something that you just can't deny. Maybe they were caught on on video doing something, there's just no denying it. Or something that they've said contradicts video evidence, right? So it shows that they were lying. But despite the evidence and how it's undeniable, these are people who will, to the death of them, deny it, even though they're wrong. Whether it's because they're in their ego and they don't want to admit that they're wrong, or they're afraid. Maybe the truth of the situation is scary to them, or in some cases it's not even that. In some cases it's much deeper and it is much more expansive. Let me explain. 822. In some cases, it's not about a single situation. It's about the ripple effect that it has, whether it's the ripple effect through that situation, right? If they realize they're wrong about a person or a situation, then they have to reevaluate that whole situation and how they played a part in that situation and how they treated people in that situation. But if these are people who, let's say that the things that they're realizing they were wrong about were core foundations of something, when they realize that they're wrong, then they start having to question what else they might be wrong about. And that scares them. So they'd rather shut that whole thought process down and still try to, even by gaslighting themselves, convince other people that they're right or deny that the truth is reality. That's cognitive dissonance. So they gaslight themselves while trying to gaslight others into believing a delusion. It's false. It's a facade. Some of them are cognitive of it. Some of them, I think they're a bit oblivious. But this karmic male's mother was presented with all of the facts and the evidence. It wasn't his word against hers. It was her word and the evidence. And also, she knows her son is a problem. She's had to bail him out of situation after situation. She's just babied and enabled him. Because he's the baby of the family. And she's an enabler. So this is somebody who this karmic male claimed publicly at one point that he would not have been able to do what he had done to divine feminine, right? Pull the wool over people's eyes, maybe even falsify documentation or narratives in a court of law or something of the sort, justice system related. And he said out loud, after perjuring his way through court and having help doing it to win whatever he was asking for, money, access to victims or something, power and control over their lives, which is really what a narcissist wants, isn't it? 1111, rhetorical question. The answer is yes. He said, I wouldn't have been able to do it without you, to the people that helped him, showing that it was, as he publicly confessed, a group effort, a criminally conspired effort, a violation of United States Penal Code no, that one also too, but that's a separate one, excuse me. A violation of U.S. Penal Code 18-241. The other one I went to start referencing was SHB 1236. So I would say that that's also applicable. Again, because his mother knew about this, because she had been presented with the facts and the evidence in both sides of the story, and she chose the karmic side to enable her abusive son, instead of, especially if there were children involved, at the expense of children, then she's also liable for any harm that happened, because she could have gone to the authorities and told them that her son was a liar, or she had been misguided about him, or that whatever the case was, but she didn't. Whether she was at first or not, there was a point where she became aware and she still kept choosing to enable him, whether it be because she didn't want to admit that she was wrong, or again, ego. It seems like the rotten apple didn't fall far from the rotten tree with rotten roots in that family, did it? And they dragged the children into it. And so this is where it gets worse, okay? It was selfish of them, as she helped a sexually deviant, domestically abusive person continue to mistreat a woman and child to the point of injuring them, hindering their progress in life and regressing their growth. And the worst part about it is that through this process they kidnapped, this won't apply to everybody's case of course, but they kidnapped a child from divine feminine. Okay, and so this karmic male has siblings, and his siblings have children. So the karmic mother in this case of this main karmic male, she has other grandkids. But the child that she chose to help this karmic male kidnap from a divine feminine, that's the only child that divine feminine has. That's the only child in her immediate family. She's the only child in her family, divine feminine, with children. So therefore her child is the only grandchild. So this karmic female mother helped her karmic male son kidnap divine feminine's only child so she could have more grandchildren, meaning that she kidnapped someone else's child, helped her son, kidnapped a divine feminine's child, leaving them with no children in their family and no grandchildren just so that they could have multiple. They left a family without kids or grandchildren just so that they could have multiple when they already had pre-existing grandchildren. 1444. They were selfish and greedy. They kidnapped someone else's children and grandchildren so that they could have multiple when they already had them. Even if they had been denied access to Divine Feminine's child, this karmic male's mother still had grandchildren to go love and dote on, and she didn't. She focused her time and energy on trying to help energy harvest from and target someone else's. That's a no. 1522. So there's that. Isis, big Isis energy, thank you. Coming through here. Let's see. I kept getting visions of this deck yesterday, so we'll see what pops out. There's spell work and an energetic attack coming through. It's a karmic who's very angry. They've been trying to project their anxieties too outward. Also, there's been a karmic trying to come through and project. They want, it's a fear-mongering tactic. They're spooked at the real light workers. Like, I'll use myself as an example, 1616 on the timer. This is a karmic female who's very spooked because when I caught her stealing from me, I read the situation and herself as a result to filth, dragged her to filth, and then washed her with the truth. And she felt stripped bare. She felt spooked that I could read the situation as it was. She feels naked. Like it was very accurate and she's got nowhere to hide. And that's the truth. However, they're trying to project that backwards. I walked into the house yesterday after doing some errands and I heard, "You know I can hear you too, right?" But it wasn't. It's a karmic projection, that particular energy. Fingerprint was all over it. And it was false. They want the light workers to feel like they're gifted, intuitive, that they're either an equal match or they're superior, and they're not. They're so scared and intimidated that they're projecting, hoping that we buy it. It's an attempt at an Uno reverse. I heard that. How did you know that? Because I really am psychic and you're faking. Stay off of my social media and stop clocking me. Plagiarism and copyright theft is a crime, first of all, and also the whole doppelganger thing is just not cute. It's karmic female behavior. Jezebel. But get out of here. We're not talking about you today. Don't worry, I've reserved a whole reading for you. It's just not right now. Move along. And wait your turn. You're on my time. 1822. So, just to recap this, the karmic male's sibling has a child, meaning the parents of the karmic male had more than one grandchild. So even if Divine Feminine's child wasn't available for them to have access to anymore, they still had grandchildren, or at least a grandchild to spend time with. But they decided to kidnap a Divine Feminine's only child. Again, Divine Feminine being the only child in her family with children, meaning her only child is the only grandchild in her immediate family, meaning the parents of this abusive deviant left a family with no kids or no grandkids so they could have two or more. 1922. In fact, again, to recap, they helped their adult child, their karmic male child, isolate another child from her mother. His mom helped him, and his daddy paid for it, in a number of cases, financially. His daddy wouldn't, yeah, they don't like this truth, wouldn't go to court with him. Or more specifically, most of the time wouldn't go to court. with him, would never testify for him because he knew he'd have to lie. But the mother did. But the father paid for it financially. Mommy lied to a judge for him. Daddy footed the bills for it. And in some cases, they vacationed with lawyers. They vacationed with judges. In some cases, they postponed upcoming court cases involving child abuse, further putting that child in harm's way, so that they could go on vacation. They asked for continuances for court cases regarding child custody and abuse, well-being, so that they could go on vacation. The parents of this karmic male. That was the excuse. To push back the court date, because they knew they were about to lose, and they wanted to buy themselves more time to cause destabilization. And I just think if it's at least a few weeks, but sometimes a few months till a new court date comes up, and you do that a few times, that's possibly 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Somebody's just bought them to try to target and destabilize somebody who might have already been on the brink of needing some kind of intervention, which is why they were asking for advocacy and child protection in the first place. Why somebody might need to get their mommy and daddy to foot the bill and lie for them, yeah. In this karmic case. So, the parents of the karmic male asked for a vacation as a stalling tactic. And then, when it was time to go back to court, then their lawyer did the same thing and asked for a vacation. And the judges were crooked on the case, so they let it happen. But like I said, in some cases, the criminals, the karmic male, and the family, the parents of the karmic male, they would go on vacation with judges and lawyers in the circuit. In some cases, they're related to them, so they have family. Heard that conflict of interest? Yes, it is. That's correct. So, the parents of the karmic male ask for vacation. They stall out the first court date. Their lawyers, the lawyers of the karmic male, request time off immediately after. So 2 continuances, and then Divine Feminine was destabilized in the process. They had specifically set out to do this intentionally. That is not the behavior of people who are qualified or fit to be around Divine Feminine's children at very bare minimum, but I would say just children in general. And this behavior is precisely why Divine Feminine cut them off to protect herself and her child or children. They are narcissistic, and they're entitled, and they enable each other, and it's toxic. It's not acceptable. It never was. Salvation. There is divine support coming through. This could be in the form of soul family as well. People, good people in the system who know about what's going on and care. Who are helping to release blockages or obstacles and stagnancies, including situations like that intended stall-out situation. That in the game of baseball would be called balking, B-A-L-K-I-N-G. It's when a pitcher pretends to throw a ball, a fake out, hoping that the batter will swing, and then it's a strike. And that's not an illegal move, but in some cases, that is what the pitcher intends to do, and that is the only thing that they intended to do. They didn't actually intend to pitch. They hoped that they could just keep faking the person out until they, I'm air quoting here, won the game, right? But that's not winning, that's cheating. So when a referee sees that the pitcher had no intention of pitching, but just pretending to pitch to stall out the game or fake out, that's cheating. That's a disqualification. It's one thing to fake out a pitch or two, but if you're just going to fake out and never even try to pitch the ball, not even once, that's balking. You're trying to stall out the system. Make people wait. Drag out the time scale so that you can try to possibly buy yourself time to flip things in your favor, and that's cheating. It's disqualification. You disqualified yourself with your lack of integrity, any kind of ethical morality. Illusion, except for nobody's buying it. Okay. So, silly little geese. So there's death prophecy coming for some of these people. I'm picking that up too. They just didn't want to stop. God is stopping them. I told you, I had to pull my hair up out of my face. Ancestry, bloodline. My shirt matches this color too today. Co-creation with the divine. And the drive to keep pushing forward no matter what obstacles they set. Yeah. I almost forgot about that. Assurance. Yeah, see, that's an ancestry reference for me, Freya, as well as this one. More specifically, the Tuatha De Danann. The Fae. An elemental realm. What I just picked up again was a little clip of the tail end of that piggybacked channel from the other day, where the Karmic male's mother was hearing him say that he was nervous that Divine Feminine was going to turn around and hold him accountable. And she said, well, why would you be nervous that she would ruin you in court, basically, fillet you like a fish in court, hang you to dry, if you hadn't done anything wrong? And that's when he started confessing that he actually had been pretty grimy. So, that's when she started panicking, and she said, no, that means we've been targeting an innocent Divine Feminine. She was having a reality check. Meaning that now she sees why Divine Feminine may have been stern and sounded angry and defensive, and why she did not back down because they were wrong, and now they're not given another choice but to realize that at all. Seems like the father had some degree of idea, because he never, he paid for it. He tried to help, probably just out of loyalty. Well, that's my son. Yeah, and you chose to be a criminal with him when you helped enable his criminal behavior towards an innocent woman and her children, or her child. Karmic male father. I can see where he got it from. The worst of both of you. But anyway, his father knew enough to testify on the stand for his lying son. He knew better than to lie to a judge for his lying son. He shouldn't have foot the bill or enabled them or supported them in doing that, but he knew better than to testify. 2922. I hear testify by, oh, it's from Repo the Genetic Opera. Everybody testify. There's another one too. Can I get a witness? 'Cause I can hold a grudge like nobody's business. Show me what you got, and I'll show you what you're missing. Yeah. He says, welcome to the wasteland. So as she's realizing this, having this reality check, 3033. She's saying, oh no, you need to go to church then. As if an act of contrition, here we go back to the fake Catholicism or Christianity, as if an act of contrition will save her or him. Meaning, oh no, all these years I've been helping you target and harm a divine feminine and her children. Maybe you should go to church and ask God for forgiveness. But the thing is, they're asking for forgiveness for a crime they're still committing. They're still holding hostages. They haven't apologized. They haven't made any kind of steps to take amends. They think that just going to church and asking for their sins to be washed away will do it while they're still sinning. 31:22. I mean, if this is a Catholic, right, their commandments are, thou shalt not lie, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not be covetous, yeah? Well, they lied to try to get what they wanted, so they were dishonest, they lied, that's one, so that they could steal, manipulate what they wanted out of a situation because they were covetous, because they were jealous, because they wanted what someone else had. And they didn't want to take consequence for their mistreatment of others. And they didn't want to acknowledge why somebody might walk away from them. They didn't want to acknowledge their poor behaviors that made people run away to escape them. They just wanted to blame people for leaving, or wanting to leave, or trying to escape, or setting boundaries, or holding them. Because, again, these are not people who are fit to be around children. They lack nurturing. You know, talked about kidnapped children. That's Demeter and Persephone. If you don't know that story, I'm getting Aphrodite too. 32:33. Cleopatra, Joan of Arc, and Aphrodite. Demeter and Persephone were mother and daughter, and the daughter was kidnapped by the Greek version of the devil, Hades, the underworld. And the mother was a nurturer. She made things flourish. So when her daughter was, and she balanced being a mother with everything else, but she took great joy in being a mom. So when her daughter was kidnapped, everything got put on hold. She stopped nurturing the earth, so everything started to wilt and die because she was so focused on trying to get her daughter back. Everything turned cold. 33:33. Yeah. These are not people who have any kind of divine gift, strength, power. I hear frauds. They're either fake psychics or intuitives, or I just heard of false prophets too. And that is on the truth. What did I say? Told you I was picking her up. Yeah, see. Communion. They've been grouping together to target people, but also it's like wanting to go to church to get communion or act of contrition or pray your sins away, but they've been wasting people's time. They've been stealing a child's childhood, and the time that her mother gets to watch her grow while they're holding hostages, trying to keep secrets while asking for permission, or trying to ask for protection so that they can keep keeping secrets. No. Asking for forgiveness, rather. Keeping secrets while asking for forgiveness, asking for help keeping their secrets so they don't get in trouble, wasting people's lives because they didn't want the truth to come out. Again, because they lack nurturing. These are not people fit to be around children. They're not adaptable, they're rigid. That's things people, light workers, start to die around them. These are energy vampires and harvesters who suck the life out of people. And they have no cognizance, no wisdom, no divine wisdom, no intellect. Clearly, oh, there she goes. Yeah, see, Persephone suffers in their care too. She does. The daughter suffers too. They're selfish. That child who they want selfishly for themselves does not do well in their care. She thrives in her mother's. Right? While trying to help her child, everything goes cold. Not the time to properly take care of the earth. Not the time to properly nurture herself. But when they go away and stop energy harvesting and stealing, guess what? Everything flourished again. The earth went back to normal the second balance was restored. But until then, everybody suffered. Everybody that divine feminine couldn't help because she was busy trying to get these people away from her and help her child, everybody suffered. These karmics caused a ripple effect when they targeted this divine feminine and her child. So everybody that could have gotten help or support from this divine feminine but couldn't, these karmics who did that, they catch karma for it. Anybody who took advantage of that time and situation, thinking divine feminine was off the scene because she was busy trying to help her child, so they thought they'd take over her garden and claim it for themselves, no, karma. And speaking of that karmic female from the next reading that keeps trying to nose her way into this one, no, first of all, but as a singular side note that I will drop, I picked up yesterday that there were a few channels, I have to go look actually, but the one off the top of my head was walking karma. She's walking karma. This is one I picked up who was talking to somebody, realizing that they fucked up. Fumbled the bag. Fumbled her purse by trying to snatch mine. Yeah. This is not somebody who has divine support or protection. But you know who came to me when I hit the mat this morning? A lot of people. Oh. The one that's funny. I meant when I hit the yoga mat, but look at what just popped out. When I hit the mat this morning, there, and that's the truth. Mic drop. Oh, that's hilarious. You guys are funny. Yep. So I have empathy for the people who've been harmed and stolen from, not for these karmics who've been selfish at other people's expense. And then there's that. Resurrect. These are not people who have any sense of mastery. I think I mentioned this over the last couple of days. These are people who can't even pass spiritual pre-K, but they're trying to compete with masters, with graduates. The in-between. There is no in-between there. There is no in-between. Not between prophecy and delusion. and not between the truth and their delusion, frankly. And I see their confusion, but I am not confused. So like I said, they're going to, something about their purses being snatched for trying to snatch other people's. They're going to be going through financial issues for stealing. Yeah, look, as the home lives are restabilized for the divine light workers, 22. So there's that. As far as the dream prophecy that I got last night, this was actually a past life dream. And this one has a big trigger warning on it. I've actually seen this one awake before too. But it's been a while. And so in this one, this was a karmic male, and I know who it is. He's chased me through many lives, and he's also assaulted my twin as well. They were both males. In this life, this guy he's very mean to women, and he's secretly in the closet or bisexual or something. I know this. I cleaned his bedroom years ago for him because it was so dirty, and I found stuff he shouldn't have had in there, substances in relation to drugs and needles, those plastic rubber band things they tie around your arm when they draw blood at a hospital. Dirty used needles with blood in them at that, and like spoons that had burn marks on the bottom of them, things he shouldn't have had. And this was in his parents' house, by the way. He had a room in his parents' house. It's filthy. I cleaned it, and then when I made the bed, I found that he had a shiny pink vibrator. Underneath, it had this iridescent, like rainbow sheen to it, but it was pink. And it was stuck between his mattress, and it had batteries in it. It had obviously been used, and he was hiding it. And I was confused. I said, why do you have this? 4222, and he said, oh, it's a gag gift for a friend. I said, okay, well, first of all, why is it not in a gift bag? Why is it out of the package? And why does it have batteries in it, 4 AA batteries in it, used underneath your mattress, hidden in your bedroom in your parents' house? I have questions. Inquiring minds would like to know. He didn't have answers. I knew why. But anyway, this is this deviant behavior through the lives. He's a sexual pervert, and then he also causes either physical abuse or narcissistic psychological abuse to the point where it actually causes injury, brain damage, concussions, or in other words, in spiritual terms, crown chakra attacks, my darlings, for starters. So just short and sweet summary of this dream. I was knocked backwards onto the dirt and hit my head on the back of my head on a stone that was in the dirt. And I woke up, I came to, and he was assaulting me. I was on the ground. And I remember this particular person doing this in a multitude of lives. Not entirely that way. There's one, Leonora Piper, an incident where there was a discussion. She had separated from her husband. I think they were still legally married, but she had separated, and he was not nice. He was abusive. And he came to the location that she had moved to, and he said he wanted to talk. So she went to the place that he had rented to talk. And when she got there, there was a little kitchen island table in the middle of the kitchen, and it had a cutting board on it with a knife, and open bottle of red wine, cheese cut up, some crackers or something, and he had obviously already been drinking. There were a couple of glasses there, and so he thought he was going to give her cheese and wine and lure her back into being with him after he was abusive to her. Come on, we have kids together. No. Even in that era, and I'm not even sure, I have to double check. I don't even think she legally had the right to divorce him. I don't think women's rights had been established to that point. So there was an issue there with the marriage. That way, it's not nice. But she went to speak to him. Now, she was self-sufficient in an era where women really weren't workers, or most of them, or a lot of them, stayed home. She was making way more money than really most women or any women in that era. The one white crow. And you know, she actually had ties to the town that I'm currently in now, 1111 on the clock. As well as one of the founders of the park in this place. His name is George. George Dorr. So, in this one, she was not interested in his advances, and he decided he wanted to take what he wanted anyway. So he took this bottle of red wine, it had been opened, and he cracked her over the back of the head with it. This is an entirely separate life, mind you. This is the pattern of this particular karmic male, over and over again, and not just to women. I'll get into that in a minute. Between the harassment and the head trauma, at minimum. And so when they were both standing at the counter at this little kitchen island table, and when he cracked her over the head, she passed out, and she kind of fell forward, and her chest, from the waist up, she was laying down on the counter right here. But when she came to, since from her hips down, she was kind of dangling off the edge of the counter, kind of with her legs limp on the floor, just feet barely touching the floor. She came to with him holding her with her upper torso flat on the counter, with her skirt flipped up over her head. This is an era where women mostly wear skirts. And he was assaulting her. And there were a few wine bottles there. He'd been, like I said, clearly drinking. He'd already finished at least one, if not more, himself. This was red wine that I saw. Maybe not just, but there was mostly red wine. And so while she was still face down, mind you, there was glass that shattered when he hit her over the head the first time. So he had her chest laying on shards of broken glass that he knocked her out with, because she fell onto them as she fell onto the counter. In fact, it may have even been the glass that woke her up, like the pressure from the glass that she was laying on, breaking into her skin or pressing into her skin. That might wake me up from being unconscious too. But imagine being rammed into the counter on broken glass. Of course that would be enough to wake somebody. So she did, but he didn't know because she was face down. So she took this other bottle of wine and tried to, while she was at a 90-degree angle at the hips with her chest and stomach flat on the counter. She tried to reach behind her with this wine bottle and crack it over his head. But it was a weird angle. Imagine being, it's kind of like being bent at the waist and then having your hands behind your back. Your mobility is very limited. And I think also there was a neck and shoulder injury, even maybe just like a small pinch when that happened because of the angle. She had to get her arm up high enough. And she did hit him. Okay, he was already drunk anyway, but he stumbled back. And when he stumbled back, it gave her just enough time to get up and get away from him. But when he stumbled back, he stumbled basically into the kitchen door, or the entryway door that led to the outside. So she couldn't go that way. He would have just grabbed her and done whatever else he wanted to. So she ran up the stairs and into the attic. And in the attic there was, it was like a T shape. You go up the attic stairs, and then when you get right to the top of the attic, it splits, and there's a long kind of hallway over here, and there's storage stuff over here, and then a long hallway over here. Just like this one long rectangular strip, and to get up to it, you just go up the T at the bottom, the T shape, like this. And I say this because in the way that this is set up, it's very strange. So you go up the stairs, and then there's the attic, and there's storage over here, like mirrors and furniture that's covered with sheets and stuff, big picture frames, like old paintings and portraits, those old school, old-fashioned type of kinds. But they're stored with sheets on them to like protect them from dust. And over here, on the other side, there's a little electrical box, but you have to go up the stairs and kind of fumble around a little bit in the dark, not too far, but on this side. So she hid over here, knowing that when he went up and had to turn off the light, or turn on the lights over here to try to see where she was, he was trying to back her into a corner like a mouse. She knew that it would give her just enough time to slip down the stairs while his back was turned and he was trying to turn on the lights on the other side. And she did. And made it out of the house, and that was that. Alive. Startled, wounded, but alive. Anyway, so that was one. There were some more too. There was, they don't like this truth. Let's pause and do some Reiki. Get some water. I'm going to light some sage as well. The evil eye is being thrown. And there's a karmic female who says, she's talking to me, how do you do that? She's talking about, how am I reading this stuff intuitively or accurately? How do I know what I know? How am I doing this? Because I'm not fake. I am who I claim to be. This is somebody who's been claiming to be a practitioner when they're not. And they're asking me, how are you doing what you're doing? Because they tried to copy me and they can't. They don't know how I'm really doing this because they've been faking it. So they're looking at me and they're realizing that I'm not fake. I'm not faking it. 53. Because they're asking me, how are you doing that? But that's all I'm going to say about that. You know why this particular person keeps trying to pop up in this reading too? Because this is a person, a plagiarizer energy, who answered the call for the chaos magic and conflict spells that were sent out by a predatory, domestically abusive, rapist energy or his associates. So they put out, this cult and this coven, a call for people, anybody in low vibration, to basically be possessed and pick up this dark energy to attack Divine Feminine or steal from or siphon from Divine Feminine. And since they were already in it, they answered. It's kind of like possession a little bit. That's why all these plagiarizers started out as one. There was one main one here doing it. One main cult leader. Tied to a big group of people, including domestic abusers, and they started sending these things out a while back. And after that, then others picked up on it. But all of them have the same zodiac signs. Or they have the same behaviors and or personality disorders because they are on the same demon time. They're on the same frequency. They all have the same type of stuff. So when one of them sent out the call, all the other little minions just like them answered. But the thing about that is, these people who sent out the initial call for the chaos and conflict stuff, they are not powerful or special. The devil was just moving through them. And they were weak enough to listen. And so they sent out a signal for the devil, and then anybody weak enough to listen picked that up too. Hive. I'm beginning, it's like a hive mind kind of a thing. Yeah, toxic. But they're all crabs in a barrel too. It's so weird. Anyway. Thank you. It's 11:22 here on the clock on the East Coast. There's sovereignty Reiki coming through, as well as stamina Reiki. There's also an energy about tying up loose ends and then bringing new beginnings for starters. There's also a new moon on the 27th. Thank you. I'm going to quickly just clear out the aura space, make sure there are no holes, and then put up some shields. Cut these cords, if there are any that need to be cut. There are not too many. Hold on. Ooh. There's also diamond Reiki coming through. I like this one a lot. It's very cleansing. It's especially good for crown chakra clearing, but it goes through the whole system. Thank you. Ooh. There's a karmic who is trying to say that I'm mean. You're mean. Hurts my feelings when you tell me the truth about myself. Okay. That was silly. Please remember to hydrate. So as far as the karmic male energy, just to finish this one up, who through the lives target people, and not just divine feminine, has also targeted divine masculine. There is a life where this karmic male who's in the closet, as I mentioned before, even just partially, even just bisexual or something, he secretly has a thing for men, if not entirely, then also, but he's mean to women. And I find that a lot of people, men that are in the closet, are like this. There's something about they're jealous of a woman's femininity or her ability to openly express it, whereas they feel like they'll be judged if they do so, and they want to, but they're afraid to, so they're mad at women and take it out on us for it. It's very strange. Or those biatch-made karmic males who try to compete with divine feminines, also equally weird, not the good kind. But in this particular case, this karmic male actually attacked a divine masculine. Sexually. He didn't discriminate. He has an obsession with both divine masculine and feminine. This is somebody who continued to chase both of them through the lives. So, let's see. Put your chains on me when you're 6 feet deep. Wow, didn't I say resiliency Reiki? Or stamina Reiki, yeah. I'm able to overcome any obstacle in my path, exactly. I have the qualities of a great leader: vision, courage, and compassion. That's twice for the compassion card. So do I have compassion? Yeah, absolutely. But not for these karmics who wanted to hurt people and then play the victim and they got caught. Right, I'll use my sense of humor to bring joy to others and healing. Right, I'll just make jokes of those people who thought that that was a good idea. You really want to sit there and play the victim? You look like a clown. Anything else? Let's see. My strength and determination are pillars of my family, unwavering. Soul family coming through too. Like I said, there are support networks. People know what's been done and they're not happy about it. Let me finish up this energy first before I open those other decks. Making sure to go through and remove where those cords were attached and heal any spaces out. Thank you. There's resurrection Reiki coming through as well. This could be with your own vitality or projects, things moving forward. If people were taking from you, if you had to put things on pause or something, that's being shifted back around. Something about also if you didn't know how to finish a project, or there was something that you wanted to do or needed to do but you didn't quite know how to get there or accomplish it, or there were certain steps involved that you needed to figure out, there's awareness or an epiphany, or I hear an aha moment coming through, which will help you, should help you get things back into alignment. Use that. You still have to follow whatever guidance. There's abundance Reiki coming through too. Lovely. Hey guys. Thanks. There's also parallel Reiki coming through. This one has an emphasis on manifesting or drawing in and accepting the materialization of the manifestations of things that are in alignment with you, away from things that are not. It's like towards like-minded soul family or people. Grifter. Archangel Uriel said Grifter. Which one? All of them. He says, you know which ones I'm talking about. You mean the lot of them, the group, the collective of, oh, you know what? I guess I can't say that. Sometimes he does get quite defensive. He's an air sign, Uriel. He doesn't usually get mad. He's being very quick to the core with this one, right to the right to the quick. What am I picking up? Cutting right to the quick. Yeah, air sign, swords. I got you, babe. Thank you. Hi, baby cutie. Come here, my little monkey. Oh, you're so sweet. You know what's funny that I noticed also? After I called out that ISIS plagiarizer energy. That's so funny. Yesterday, and then my community board. I went to make sure I had a screen grab of a piece of evidence. It was faster to just do it off the web than it was to go through previous files. And so I noticed that she had put up another one. And in it, it's like, I don't know. Oh, she was trying to prove that she has a connection to ISIS by suddenly posting herself with her cat. But that cat looked like it was trying to get out of her arms. Mine just climbed up on the counter to lay inside mine. Hi, babies. I only have one hand right now. Yeah, I'm laughing. Thank you. Oh, there's my love. There's my love. My little Velcro kitty. You want some love? Okay, come back up here. Because I'm going over here. Oh, I need two hands, love. This karmic female, she's upset. It's this plagiarizer. She's lurking. If not now, then on the replay. She's jealous. Why did you just do that? Because. Yeah, her. You made me look bad. No, you made you look bad. Stop trying to compete. She says, you really are Isis. Stay seated. It's hilarious. She was also asking, like, why did I? Oh, my lovins, I love you so much, but I need this counter space. Why? I took the camera off of the thing, or more specifically, why I adjusted things around, because you wanted to play games. So I stood on screen for a split second, but I had no intention of doing so, which meant I had to move around my station. But we're good, we're back. No big. Why do you care is a better question. I don't like her energy. You hear Hanging Tree, the Hanging Tree. It's a Hunger Games song. There's an emphasis on karmics. I just didn't want to learn their lessons. Finally being put to rest, to bed. They can't do it anymore. They can't do it. Emphasis on those predatory, perverted karmic male energies. Anybody that related to that? Catching karma for stressing people out or causing trauma, head trauma or otherwise. 7222. Thank you. As well as further deviance. By deviance, I mean assault on others and sexual perversion. You can't put your chains on me when you're 6 feet deep. Yeah, it's a karmic female. It's Sagittarius I'm picking up on. Not just, I'm picking up Sagittarius, Aquarius. She is angry and she's ripping out, like pulling her hair in frustration. Wow. Yeah, you know, it's giving Ursula the Sea Witch, not Little Mermaid. Just saying. She says, "How are you so calm? I tried to fuck you up. I threw all that magic to." The joke is on you. Salty? How are you so strong and powerful? I am who I claim to be. Oh yeah, that's right. Thank you. So I kept getting visions of, wow, this deck this morning too. It's a dream deck. Let's see. Check on that dream prophecy I had this morning. Okay. getting a vision of another one too. I don't know where that is. Hold on. Can you tell me where it is? Or give me an idea so we can save some time. Thanks. Alright, I went to get a deck, and another one fell on my foot, in fact. And there's an emphasis on toe stepping here, okay? For these toe stepping karmics, these people who tried to step on other people's toes, chain letters. Nobody wants to hear what they have to say, because it was just a generic cut and paste version of what they were taking from us. These are people who will be facing litigation for stealing, for trying to cause problems. For those who tried to take from us, target us, or do any of those things, they're in trouble. For those who tried to play the victim or spin a smear campaign or flip the script after they got called out, you're in trouble. Neither of those things were acceptable. Pollsters, yeah, see? These were people who were trying to get either, I saw one of these plagiarizers kept posting like polls. They wanted people to vote on, so weird, like what zodiac sign was their favorite. It was just a clickbait attempt to get attention. I saw it for what it was, but cut and paste, just very generic things, and not all of them are true also. So this person didn't even know what they were posting was inaccurate because they didn't know what they were talking about. It was just generic screenshot Pinterest crap. And secondarily, these are people who thought that the truth didn't matter as long as they had popularity. Didn't matter if they were spinning lies about us or even about themselves on the positive to make themselves look good or make other people look bad. As long as people believed it, as long as people sided with them, it didn't matter if it was true or not, right? That's what they thought. Yeah, it's like Christmas for them, like stealing candy from a baby, whisper. Just whispering, except for here. They didn't realize they were being watched while they were stalking and harassing and clocking people. Hello, monkey. What are you doing? You want to play? Let's play. Come on. Oh. So cute. Yeah. Okay, so there's an emphasis here on being able to read between the lines or see through what they're either posting or trying to present themselves as. And that's what I said earlier. These people feel like I've read them like a book. I did. Except I didn't need to read it. It just was. These are not playful, nice people. These are not creative people. Yeah, what did I say? Look at this. Dolphin who snatched her bra top off. No, these are perverted little mean people. Not nice. They don't work in dolphins migrate in pods. These are not people who work together. They target others. They're not team players. They might try to pretend to be, but they're not. I saw that too. One of these plagiarizers trying so hard to pretend like they're inspiring the collective, or like they're a girls girl, or they're cheering girls on while they're siphoning from people that, had they actually been friendly, would have been a good friend to them. But they weren't. They were cheap and gross. So they've got no protection, Fort Knox. These all hit the floor, by the way. I didn't pull these. And I didn't take the ones that were face down, just the ones that flew up and were screaming. Alien abduction. I picked the other day up. Some of these people were asking, like, who are you? How have you survived these attacks? How are you still... You must be an alien. Yeah. Okay, and so they can't relate. Wall Street, they're having money troubles. They tried to present themselves, I hear, in a tax bracket that they were not. Green Party. Wow. I picked that up the other day too. Karmics were saying something about like Divine Feminine collecting a liberal army. This was a reference at me specifically, but take what you will from this. Collecting or creating a liberal army, meaning these are the types of people who call people with empathy, who genuinely care about the well-being of others and society and the earth and the planet. Liberal hippie snowflake. whatever. You know, if you've heard it, you've heard it. And they think that calling us snowflakes is an insult. I don't find that insulting. Quite the opposite. In fact, a snowflake is wildly unique. They try to call people snowflakes to call them unique, because if it lands in the palm of your hand, it melts, or it'll melt on someone's breath. But snowflakes are actually really special. Every single snowflake is different. They all form differently. Every snowflake crystal has its own unique shape. Anybody remember cutting out paper dolls or paper snowflakes, especially the snowflakes, as a child? Ever do that as a craft project? If you know, you know. They all often come out a little different. It's kind of like that. Unless you're doing a specific pattern, of course. But in this case, with the real snowflakes, they're all different. Beyond that, they are... Hold on. No, my lovey, I saw that coming. You so silly. Come here. Hey, I need that, you silly goose. Liberal hippie snowflakes. Back on that point. 8322. So that's what they call people. I never said I was a liberal, but they assume that anybody that, again, has empathy or cares about the general well-being of people or animals or the environment, that's what they call it. Liberal, hippie, snowflake. Snowflakes are unique within their own right on a geometric spectrum, but they require very specific and distinctive environments to grow, to be able to form. You can't be too warm. The environment has to be just right. There has to be enough moisture in order, and really it's rainfall that freezes. Or cloud that freezes. Which doesn't make someone a snowflake. it makes them, imagine thinking that about a rose. Roses are very finicky. They're delicate. They require, often, most breeds, exquisitely specific environments to grow. They don't like too much sun, but they need enough. They don't like it to be too hot. They don't like it to be too cold. They need enough water. If you give them too much, they don't like that either. The fertilizer, the soil, the nutrients has to be just right. But they're beautiful. And frankly, they're one of the more expensive flowers because of their value, because of the care it takes to know how to grow them and to put the time and investment into doing so. And then there are the thorns. It also has its own sense of protection. So does the cold. People don't tend to like the cold. Cold can be very biting when it's frigid, yeah? Well, karmics don't require people to pull an Elsa and bite back, so to speak. So these are not people who are versed, not logical, not cognizant, like I said. And they may have been trying to claim to be teachers or coaches of some kind. Thank you. At least they're sound. But they've been trying, I know that. Let me know if that shifts or changes. So I don't know what else I can do, just but wait. So public art, these are not creative people. Like I said, they were taking from others. Look at that. It's a toilet. State lotteries. So these are people who thought that they'd win the lottery. They'd won the lottery by finding some blueprint, somebody to copy, snatch from. But you see these same people calling people with empathy unique, the artists and the creators of the world, the different people of the world. Snowflakes are the conservative criminals, right? They all have their, I hear squares, like they're square. If somebody is a square, it means they're basic and boring, or they're all just gray blobs of each other. They've all got these square cube heads. Yeah. And so, especially if there were, speaking of state lottery, some of these people thought that they could manipulate things. Let's go back to the karmic male, right, who wants to bully light workers. You know, I heard a channel about a karmic male this morning saying something like that. He was talking to someone about divine feminine, and he said, it's just this new age, like hippie, spiritual, this and that. And somebody that he spoke to said, no, they were talking about me. No, she teaches about ancient history. What do you mean, 8822? And he said, yeah, it was just this repurposed in a new age. And they said, no, it's not. It's just ancient history that's being reapplied on the modern spectrum. It's not new. It's old. It's ancient. What do you mean? You're just a bigot. And by the way, this karmic male is somebody who can't even keep from messing their own pants. And then they expected somebody to clean their dirty drawers for them. So, wouldn't take an insult from someone I wouldn't take advice from. Do your laundry, kid. So, as far as the criminal people who wanted to go in small town civil courts or family courts or those smaller scale courts, thinking that if they had judges and lawyers in the family, they could get what they wanted and ask for favors and go on vacation instead of deal with consequences and, yeah, find ways to try to hurt victims more and flip things in their favor. That's backfiring. Because since they have done so much damage, and since there are good people in the system, like I've said, that have seen not only what's been going on, but that certain people whose jobs, careers it was to fix these problems or prevent them did not do so, now there are higher authorities stepping in, peaceful government, liberal, you liberal snowflake, yeah, well, guess what? I've got friends in all places. What's up? And they're stepping in quickly. Where the whiskey drowns. These must be alcoholics, some of them. In fact, I know they are. Yeah, see, people who are not fit to be around children or kids, the closest thing to a child or pet, children or pets. The closest thing to they might try to treat children like pets though, little perverts. The closest thing to a child or a pet that they really should be around is maybe a virtual pet, and that's it. Something they can't truly kill or hurt. Because they're vampires. And they lack empathy, which is why we just don't care anymore. They're mad that we don't give them sympathy or kindness or chances anymore, but look what they did with those chances when we did. You think you deserve more? You're not entitled. These people who were stealing or trying to hide money too, that got exposed. Ooh, these people are in debt. And I told you, right in their purses, because they tried to snatch ours. It's going to hurt them in their purses, I heard this morning. Usually, I laugh too. I'm like, that's a new. Usually it's going to hurt them in their pockets. Nope, I heard purses. Strange for change. Yeah, these people lacked any kind of dignity. They were trying to infringe on other people's freedom. Yeah, see, because they lacked family morals, values, ethics. These are not people to be around. They're not family-oriented. Children, animals, etc. Certainly not divine feminines. They thought that they were slick. You know, this came out in reverse, though, initially. They're not. But they came after people who are much slicker, much smarter than they are, also, who have, well, hidden allies around. For starters. Why did we do that? Because you lack exceptionality. Which is why they're being put in timeout. In this case, look, this is like Joan of Arc with the hellhound over here. And God says, all right, now you go forth and you to handle those karmics. Okay, Sky Daddy. The belly of the beast. Spit out, not out of their mouths. Brick fired and turned into stepping stones for us, because that's what they tried to do with our spinal cords. We get to move on and keep creating, because they lacked love and empathy. There's nothing nice there. I'm moving on. Don't look back, God says. I split the deck again, and there she goes. Anything else? That was a little loud, sorry. I'm ready to be done with this reading, guys. People are gross. They have better things to do. Shoes. Yeah, see? Divine Masculine says they could never fill your shoes. And there's no moving forward with this for them. No easy sailing, no smooth sailing, no sailing at all. They're stuck. They're They are stranded at port. The Joan of Arc story. They are stuck on the side of a river with no wind, and God is not picking up the wind for them the way God picked it up for Joan. Mm-hmm. They're going to get it for that. In case you didn't catch that, it's the children card. Which is precisely what some of these people were lying about in court. All those lies and all those, the whole thing with the grandkids and the stealing of, yeah, well, they'll learn. When you think that you can get away with what you think you can get away with because you've got judges in your pocket, let me tell you what, God will bring in another superior. If the divine doesn't do it thyself, then God will bring somebody earthside to put your place in check. 9522. To put your ass in place, to put you in check. Both. Let's pause. I need to shake this energy off for a second. These, I mean, they're gross. The energy seems to be getting worse from these karmics. Like, I'm picking up on it. They're spiraling, or they will be spiraling. They will continue to spiral. You know what I noticed also? There's still a strand of lights not attached to anything, just like out there strung up in the trees, because like I said a few weeks ago or a few months ago, they're not going to want to spend the time taking those down, right? They slowly, retaliatively strung up a few at a time. I was like, have fun taking all that crap down. They don't want to climb up in that tree to get that down. Which I prophesized a few months ago. Wasted your electricity bill too. You'd think a disabled person who was on fixed income would think better of that, but all right. Living beyond their means. As the person in the apartment that moved out before them would say. Oh, I picked that up too. There's an energy he's been wanting me to do something, take something down, take like a sled off of the side of a shed because it's bothering them. No. Eternal truth. There it is. That's the truth. Eternal wisdom. Ethereal alignment. I'm not doing anything. I'm not moving myself for these people. I'll be moving away from these people. But I'm not changing myself for these people. They can get over it or get away from me. 9822. But they will be getting out of my way. I don't plan to stay here anyway. But they can get over it or get away from me and get out of my way. Can you imagine? What kind of person sits there and harasses somebody they claim not to like for years? All they do is complain and complain and complain and tries to harass them and block them and bully them, right? When all that person wants to do is leave. If you don't like that person, leave them the fuck alone so they can get away from you. What's wrong with you? Yeah, I can see that. Eternal reflection. Eternal recurrence. And that's why they keep cycling around the same toxic energy. And why I keep saying no. And no means no, and it will not change. My answer will not change just because you don't like it. It's a boundary, not a grudge. Biatch. 9922. Yeah, see? These people are dark. Celestial illumination. It's in reverse. Their scales are being balanced because they had no authority, galactic wisdom, nor insight to be doing such things. Harmony and balance. Yeah, right, because they're out of alignment. And don't have universal guidance. But we are calling in Soul Family and Vibe Tribe, collectively speaking, so keep pushing. Can't put your chains on me. This one also fell. Actually, I want to wait to do that one. We'll do this one. Hi, babies. And I need this one too. That's a good idea. Thank you. Oh, there's a karmic. I'm so sorry. No, they're sorry they got caught. I wish I hadn't done that. Trust me, we all do. Please remember to hydrate. I'm going to go back in now with a bit more energy clearing. Hi, babes. There's elevation Reiki coming through. There's also groundedness Reiki coming through. And also earth Reiki. It's a variation of the grounding energy. It's a bit different though. Somebody asks how. One, specifically focused on grounding the energy. The other does touch on that, but it's more about the elemental energies of the earth. Elemental properties. I also picked something up about iron this morning. I had some dreams about that, some medical mediumship. Be mindful that you are getting enough proper nutrient content. I just heard vitamin Z for someone else. Just saw yogurt, so that might be possibly vitamin D or calcium someone else needs. And selenium. I think eggs have selenium, don't they? Be mindful. Make sure you get enough nutrients. Nutrient deficiencies can cause all kinds of things. What is this energy? I know they want me to stop speaking, but there's energy coming through. It's not mine. It's almost like a tongue-tie energy. They're scared of the truth, or... No, that's not it. What is this? Nobody's listening to them? Like, yeah, but no. Oh, they're scared to speak now. It's a karmic female. She says, because I know you'll blast me with the truth. There's nothing that I can do to cover it up or hide it. In fact, it makes it worse when I do. Every time.
I learned the hard way. I'm not going to do that again. You're going to whoop my ass with it this time. And frankly, she says, I know the universe is after me. You've got all the gods and the goddesses and the angels on your side. I don't stand a chance. I'm fucked. Ooh, she's panicked. 10422. I don't like this. I don't like her energy. I need to crack the door again. Girl, get out of my house. End my reading. That's your fault. You answered the call on that chaos magic. You catch the karma with all of them. I don't care if you ever met them in person or not. Leave my collective and I alone. You don't have a choice. Bye. Door's open. Don't let the backswing hit you on the ass on the way out. Toodles. Don't come back. By the way, you've been uninvited, 'cause all you say are all the same things I've lived. Cheers. Copycat trying to cop my glamour. Watch your back when you can't watch mine. Copycat trying to cop my manner. Why so sad, bunny? Can't I mine? So, moving forward, here is what the aim of the Lightworkers is for healing and to get rid of these people. So there's an emphasis on starving these narcissistic karmics out. Here's your match. This is about a negativity detox. Aim to go an entire day without saying anything negative. So it's not that there might not be negative people or situations, but it's the gray rock and the zero contact method. As best as you can, you focus on elevating. Don't give them the energy, don't give them the attention, energetically or otherwise. Moving forward. This is how you re-spark the light in your own flame. Instead of letting people suck you dry, don't feed them. Be reliable. Let people know that they can count on you. You know what? I actually heard a channel about that before I came here, 10822. I had intended to handle this reading yesterday, but what happened was when I went to go take care of some evidence and some things I had to take care of, as well as a bit of office work, some other errands, I noticed some more evidence. These karmics left a paper trail and I had to take the time to document that too. But it took longer, and I was called to wait, so I did. And so because I had intended to do this yesterday, it looks like YouTube guess, took down or reprivatized this video because it hadn't actually gone up. I hadn't actually done the live yet, even though it was on preview. And the scheduled time passed. And so this morning I put it back up, and I just thought maybe I'll be done by like 10 o'clock doing what I was handling before coming here, but I wasn't. I had a few more minutes of stuff to do, so I switched it back over to 10:30 a.m. on the East Coast for this morning, and I did. Came live. But here's the thing. There were a few people watching. I heard it, and one of them said this morning something about wanting to watch the live video but not knowing if it was going to be now or later, and that they had stuff to do, so if it was going to be later or it was going to be kept pushing back, which I wasn't planning to do that anyway. I was just finishing up a couple of loose ends to come here, and I did. But I heard this conversation as I was finishing up anyway. 1:10:22, and it was a masculine energy. And he was talking to somebody, a colleague or a friend of his, and he said something about just give her a minute, right? It was like they wanted to watch it at 10 and I pushed it back to 10:30. And so one of them said, well, I don't, what if she 10:30 rolls around and then she pushes it back again, like, I'd like to watch this now and I've got time to watch this now, but I don't have time to wait all day right now. I have other stuff to do. If I have to catch it later tonight, I'll do that, or something like that. The last piece was kind of ad-libbed in, but speculatively speaking, maybe they wouldn't. I hear they would. Either way, 1:11:11, this is what I heard. And so whoever he was speaking to said, just give her a minute. And I was just finishing up loose ends anyway. So I did come through and I did finish up. Now, if I had other stuff to do, would I have pushed it back again? Yes. They can come back and watch it later when I'm ready, or they don't have to watch it, and that's fine. Whatever floats their boat. But yeah, I had stuff to do. Yeah, and this is what this masculine said. He said, be patient with her. She's been really injured. Like, she's still over here holding her own and running things, certainly not self-admittedly as she feels like she could be with full healing, but she's doing more than most people could without the injuries that she's dealing with, and she's doing better. At her worst of worst, she's still better than most, and you've got to give her credit for that, pretty much. And I appreciated that. He says, real recognizes real. Yeah. 1:12:22. So remember the golden rule, treat others as you would want to be treated. Yeah. He says, I'm so sick of people trying to count her out by blaming her for the symptoms of what other people have done to her instead of stepping in to either help her heal or prevent them from doing more damage. It's just like she doesn't need people to heal her. She just needs these people to get out of her way so she can finish healing herself. They'd stop stealing her resources to do it. She'd be better off. Pisses me right off, he says. Yeah, I told you. This is not an energy that I know typically to be mad or like, he's very regulated. It's not like he doesn't feel emotions, but he's one of those people that if he is, he uses it as fuel. He's like calm, angry, and he uses it as fuel to get things done. It's very mentally agile and focused energy, really. 1:13:22. But in this case, he's unapologetically a little bit, I don't know if testy's the right word, stern, defensive on her behalf. It's apt and applicable. It's not out of context or inappropriate given the circumstance. Yeah, this one really upset. This one must be a big trigger for him. Something about him being able to see things for how they are, very cut and dry. And it upsets him that either people can't or they've been choosing not to. Choosing to dismiss her because they don't like the truth. He says that's what it is. That last one, well, I respect that. 114:22, he says, I respect you. Namaste. Thank you. What is planted in your soul will sprout. Plant seeds, dedication, your work is rewarded. Okay. Look for the answer inside your question. Be honest with yourself. You know the truth. There it is. Those dolphins in reverse. He sees that these people are not nice. They're not playing in team groups. They're being competitive. They're being mean. Be with those who help your being. Like attracts like, but choose friends or associates carefully. Yeah, I also picked up that there's somebody that, no, there's another one. I won't get into it now. Other than to say I got tipped off about somebody's energy being sketchy. My ancestors came through today. And the holy angels. I know, I'm watching. Live life as if everything is rigged in your favor. Have confidence and keep the faith. You are supported. Exactly. I'm watching just in case they popped up. Eyes in the back of my head. Let the waters settle and the stars will be mirrored to you. Take a break. Time away brings clarity. 12:22. Yeah, it's also why I paused to take a little time before coming back here. It's a busy day yesterday. Anything you lose comes around in another form. Opportunity, choices, transformation, because these people had no clearance or authority to do what they did or take what they took. Turn your face towards the sun and let the shadows fall behind you. Rihanna heard that one. And also Diwali, the Diwali version of Cold Water. Has these little lights in it. And I heard this yesterday. The wound is where the light enters. Healing, blessings, strength to carry on. Put your chains on me. Okay. Anything else? Okay. These are not awakened people. It's Karmics trying to claim spirituality or sovereignty, and they're not. They have no divine protection. And they did not learn their lessons. They're just repeating the cycles. Thank you. Guarded. Yeah. My light workers, though, I was just picking that up. Protection coming through. Have protection, myself included. And any of these ties these people try to use to latch on to light workers, anchors to people, those are being severed. These people can see the truth now. Because we chose to push forward, they can't save themselves. Their little attempts to, your demolitions failed, bruv. Take us out, those have failed. Their attempts to create more turbulence in our lives, those have backfired onto them. Their attempts to continue to wound people or make them stuck, those are backfiring onto them. But this preservation card, and they're getting threefold karma at that. At least. These people, it's reminding me of a toxic Cancerian trait. It's not just toxic Cancer, but especially dark side of Cancer does this. It's for self-preservation. They will do something grimy, like there's a Cancerian pedophile locally here, and I called her out for being a pervert and assaulting children, and she went on a whole self-preservation campaign. The second the truth about that started to come through, she started a slander campaign. She started trying to discredit. They went as far as lying to judges and government officials and stealing money and all kinds of different things to continue their crimes and cover-ups. They felt like they were justified in doing what they were doing. They didn't want people to know what they were doing. They felt like we were being offensive by, myself included, whistleblowing on situations, just karmics in general. No, I find your pedophilia quite offensive, though. They don't have any more time. So I also noticed the attempted drive-by, stalking, noise intimidation, as well as hacking started over the last 12 to 24 hours, 121, 22. So these people are getting desperate. They're either trying to buy themselves more time, or they think that if they think they either have more time because they haven't been caught, or they think that if they do these things, they can buy themselves more time. To bulk. Again, that's probably why that came up earlier. But people they don't have any more time. People are not distracted. They're distraction tactics is what it is. To distract from the truth. To distract from who is really the problem. To try to villainize the victim who might be reacting to abuse instead of holding the abuser, the real perpetrator, accountable. No. They fell on their own sword and the hole that they were trying to dig for somebody else as a grave. Because they chose not to change. And you can't stop change. Things are always changing. The wheel is always turning. And if you try to stop it, you're going to be crushed underneath it. Every time. God turns the wheel. It's the wheel of the universe. The wheel of fate and fortune. 122-22. For starters. Didn't you know? He's got the whole universe in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got my little bitty baby in his hands. SOS for Aspen. So there's that. I told you, they're all out of time. They're out of time. See the papers in his hand? Those are false contracts. They're out of time. I'm moving on. Finally, peace with the past I regret. Found you fun, strengthen your moments of weakness. At last I'm at peace with myself. I've been burdened with blame, he says, and trapped in the past for too long, but I'm moving on. And these people have no power. This would be like a King of Pentacles. And one of the people targeting me this way is an overbearing, toxic earth sign, negative. On the flip side, it's in reverse. Which is why there's nothing that grows. These people lack empathy and intuition. Water's emotion, willow trees. Reminds me of the Navi tree in Avatar movie, the blue avatars. Willow trees thrive around waters. Their roots run pretty deep. And so, yeah, what did I say? These people are not people who connect with Archangel Uriel. I am. There's a reason that this divine masculine energy has been coming through quite air sign and defensive. The light of the world. Yeah. Illuminating the truth. You know what this is reminding me of? It's like divine masculine knocking on the door over here as divine feminine's just minding her business with her cat and sweeping up the house and cleaning up the mess that these karmics made. Yeah. These people who lacked cognizance, like I said, they might have pretended to be empathetic. King of Roses, King of Cups, that's the water. They might have pretended to be empathetic, emotional, or intuitive, or intellectual, picking up also just based on this, but they're not. They're not. They use mental concepts to gaslight people, or psyop, P-S-Y-O-P, psyop. It's like psychological warfare, manipulation, or a form of brainwash, really. They were not on track. There's no healing for them. There was no intellect, told you. No sovereignty. No. Nothing of moral or ethical value. Scribe, it's in reverse. So nobody's listening to them because they wrote false contracts. Or tried to get into other people's Akashics and they had no business being there. They still don't. So their lives are coming apart, right? They tried to look out for each other. They tried to, like these blue falcons, like look out. If you were committing crimes, if there's a robbery, you've got some people breaking in, then you've got the people who in the car who are ready to, the getaway driver I hear, or then you also have the lookouts. And they're the ones who are planted in different spots with walkie-talkies or phones or something, texts, something, to notify the people on the inside if there is somebody getting close to catching them so that they can make a break for it. Okay, well, guess what? They're catching karma for that. That's burning to the ground. As far as targeting of divine feminine and her child or her children go, guess what? The child, the divine feminine, who is not embraced by the village, as she was clearly not, will burn it down to feel its warmth. Happy February. On the East Coast. They're stuck in it because that's where they wanted us. That's where they tried to put us. Clean it up. 12:34. That's what we're doing. And they have no support. But guess who's quite fond of children? Women and children, especially women and children navigating the judicial system. Needing protection, especially. And like I said about the path clearing, they tried to create blockages and obstacles. But there's a grounded energy that's here, this earth elemental energy. Balancing the scales on all sides. Earth, I told you. Air, fire, water, spirit. That's God coming through. Cosmic reprimand by lightning. Yeah. What they were trying to build got torn down. I mentioned those bricks, right? The belly of the beast. I saw this. Hi, baby kitty. Oh, I need my hands. Ow! Silly goose. Bricks. Here, Brick by Boring Brick by Paramore. It's all about the exposure, the lies they told her. Okay. But the reference of this belly of the beast. Oh, and the fertilizer. All right, okay. I heard it the other day. And these karmics tried to use light workers as stepping stones. I said this. They tried to use our spinal cords as cobblestones. And so the hellhounds that came out in that card a little while ago, the hellhounds are going to collect them, eat them alive, straight into the belly of the beast, like the devil swallowing them whole. 130:22. And then they are digested and spit back out, just not out of its mouth, you see. But what do they use to fertilize fields? Okay. And what are bricks made of? Earth and soil. So what happens is the hellhounds are eating these karmics alive, dragging them back to the pits where they belong, vacating them, and then what is turned into fertilizer, into dirt from that's being used to be compressed into bricks and used as the foundation of our life. God is turning them into a pavement for us because that's what they tried to do to us. And God said, no. You will not touch my chosen. You will not touch my divine feminine, and you will not try to keep her from her divine masculine. You are finished. End of discussion. Before they had red clay bricks. Do you know how bricks were made? Bricks was dirt, like this. Way back, even Ireland, ancient Ireland, they used, they had this special tool, kind of like a shovel, but it cut out a perfectly 90-degree angled slabs of dirt about a foot or so long. Kind of, you'd step on a shovel to put it in the dirt, and you do the same thing with this thing, but it takes out a chunk of this mud in this square-ish kind of shape, and that's used as a brick, either to lay the foundation of a home of some degree, whether these things are dried out, or I know in some cases they've used them for roofing as well. They lay them with, I think, this clay stuff to seal it, and then usually they thatch it with hay or something. Old school, very ancient, like hut style houses. Whitewashed the stones and things. Somebody says whitewash, not racially, I mean actually taking some kind of white liquid and painting it on the outside to whitewash it. To be clear, that's an older term on that note. Yeah, see, she's been in the home, just balancing herself in divine masculine, says, look, love, I see that you've been just trying to get out of these entrapping life situations that these people have been trying to get you out of. I know you can do it because here you are, the Queen of Pentacles, and you have the divine on your side. You have a balance of both dark and light. Both realms respect and or fear you. I also heard him say that this morning. I heard it yesterday too. He keeps saying something about putting respect on divine feminine's name, or telling people they need to, or that you're going to put some respect on her name. You don't have a choice. Mic drop. Yeah, because he sees her. He doesn't like that people are treating her like this. You know what I feel? I'm suddenly feeling when people are bullying her, it's like he sees himself in that, and he feels how it would feel like if he was the one being bullied, and he doesn't like that very much. Maybe he's being bullied like that, or people have tried, and so he stands up for her. He says she stands up for everybody else. Why? She just needs one person to stand up for her. Like, if nobody else will do it, then we'll let it be me. He says she's going to do it for herself anyway. Might as well help. Yeah, or get out of her way. And away from her. Because she's had a whole community after her. People who didn't know the first thing about really anything, shouldn't have been trying to claim that they had any kind of access to the Akashic, shouldn't have been trying to play around in people's energies, shouldn't have been trying to destiny swap. No. Who made things harder for themselves by making fake contracts and trying to steal what wasn't theirs instead of being inspired. Inspiration is one thing, theft is another. Yeah, that's why they're not getting their wishes fulfilled. Told you that hard freeze energy. She is hellfire and she's holy water. You're going to pull the grace or the Frankie out of her. Summer or frigid winter. Pick wisely. See, now they're being forced to face the reality. Views of the ego. Told you. Of what they did and who they are and really how they treated people. It's all being taken into scale. And you see, this is this divine masculine. He's inspired by her. He sees her like the moon. He's over here doing a sculpture of her. It looks like Aphrodite. You see in the background, though, he's got paintings of her he's done. Oh, that one's from by the back. They're pretty. Yeah, that's Aphrodite, it looks like. She's been his muse. Is that a... No, that's not a record player. It looked like that. At first, it's a lamp with tools on it. And the table, it looks like they're wood shavings or clay shavings on the table. Chippings of clay dust. But really, it looked like a turntable or not a turntable. It looked like a record player. Yeah, this is a communication angel. He's not confused. He knows exactly what he wants. 137:22. He says, correction, who? Who? He says there's no one like her. They all tried to compete, but they could never compare. He says, I saw right through them. The War of the Roses. And this is why they tried to combat her, he said. He says, but they have no strength. Look at how she stood her own against all of them, all by herself. Imagine if there were two of us. And so it is. And so it be. I think I'm going to cap it right there. Other than, I did see these two. Can I get one for this karmic male energy? Can I get one for myself, please? Can I get one for the karmic male's mother, too? Thanks. Let's just stop it right there. I could read on the father and that other energy, but I won't right now. So let's do the karmic male first. This is his karmic energy. Something about, he's angry about living with his parents, that he's living with his parents, or he has to live with his parents. Insubordination, rebellion, aggression. He says, or live with a karmic female, which everybody knows, including his parents and the public at this point. It's just not a good idea or an option. And so if he wants to try to go do that, it just looks bad. It makes him look worse. And so he can't really do that because there's no way to spin that one in a good light at this point. It's already been, the cover's been blown on it. It's already been exposed. It's already been seen as toxic, not fit to be around children. Or that's how people are looking at him and the dynamic. Okay. Side note, insubordination, rebellion, aggression, cannot deal with the hierarchy, pushed aside or dismissed from positions of command, confronting orders from up above, perversity, multiple desires, lack of moral strength. I mentioned that earlier. Dropout, abandonment, quest for the useless, exactly. Situation. Not that he isn't a karmic situation, he is. But he tries to make it bigger by adding more of them to the situation and the dynamic. Or he did. Perversity, told you about that too. Conflict, betrayal, inscribed in one's genetic code. Told you about that too. It's like the rotten apple didn't fall far from the rotten tree. He got the worst parts of both of his parents. And they all try to pretend like they're nice people. Good people. They're not. It's a facade. The facade contradicts their behavior, their treatment towards us, towards others. The things that they either do to other or that they enable and allow others to do. It contradicts the nice guy facade, the nice Catholic church-going facade that they try to put on, for starters. Ew. I hear they look fake. I also hear blasphemy and sacrilege. It's blasphemy and sacrilege. It's Archangel Uriel speaking. Yeah, I know. Not nice people. Contempt. They're contemptuous. They may also be now found in contempt of court for their perjury and their fraud. In fact, I hear they will be. Divine Masculine says they should have been for bulking the system like that. Yeah, I agree. So does the law if it's actually being abided by. When you're dealing with real judges and not a kangaroo court. Feeling of superiority or inferiority, and that's why he tries to bully and manipulate to get what he wants. Makes him feel better. Worldly pleasure, to get money or resources or possession of people, things, situations. It's 1:42:42 on the timer. September 3rd to September 7th, April 23rd, July 7th, September 19th, December 1st, February 9th. Yeah, there it is. And 10:40 a.m. to 10:59 a.m. Well, I came here just about 10:30, between 10:30 and 10:40 a.m. this morning. Okay, and so this is that karmic male. So there's one that's been coming after me, like 33, the Jesus number, Ascended Master number, but there's one that's been coming after me. His birthday's the week of April 23rd, and he took part in bullying my husband to death, Mr. Delray Meeker, and I woke up and found Delray dead on December 1st. So there's that, you piece of shit. Don't think I know you don't still stalk me on the daily. Go away. She's with me now. And I hope 82 alive to know that she'll be with me tonight. She's with me now. Riding right there in the front of my truck. with her pretty little feet up. Yeah, and he says, keep her pretty little name out of your dirty, rotten mouth. Go brush your teeth, you nasty little prick. 144.22. We'll start that negativity detox tomorrow. 144.33. Divine masculine's laugh. Oh, he said. And I think it's hilarious. He says, I think you're hilarious. Well, thanks. Oh, baby. What are you looking for me? What do you want? Come here. All right. So then, well, that makes sense. This is hilarious. For the karmic male's mother, his karmic mother, she does not understand the sense of an ordeal, which is why she thought helping a rapist was a grand idea. Lying to a judge for him and getting her husband to pay for it was a grand idea. Oh, goodness. Oh, look. Judicial rigidity. So they're about to get their asses whooped in court. So it sounds like her son's fear that Divine Feminine was going to fillet him like a fish with the truth in court was, well, justified. Sounds like he's having a reality check, and now she is, like I said. Because since they were corrupt, filed fraud to steal what wasn't theirs, money, and hold hostages, they're going to prison. And that's why they started the gang stalking, the drive-bys, the noise intimidation, and the stalking and hacking over the last 12 to 24 hours again. I noticed it. And if you think police reports weren't made about it, you thought wrong. Next. Oh, but we're not stopping at the police. Don't worry. That was just the first call. You get it documented, and then you move up the ladder. Moving on. She does not understand the sense of an ordeal. Instability, inconsistency, going astray, enabler, feeling of revenge, persecution, and punishment. I'm gonna help my rapist son abuse you, and when you stop sending your child to me because we're not safe people for you or your child to be around, I'm going to try to abuse you. I feel persecuted. I know you told me many times that if the abuse continued, you'd stop coming around and you'd stop sending your child around. But when you finally did, since I'm still enabling my son and I always thought you'd enable me too, well, I felt blindsided. Yeah. Valerie! Tried to tell him go to rehab and he said no, no, no. Run. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Please stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to. I know you're gonna have it your way or nothing at all, but I think you're moving too fast. Little Precious had a natural affection for temptation, but he just can't reach. Gives him loving that his body can't handle. All he can say is, baby, it's good to me. Heroin addict. His mother just keeps praying, but it's not helping at all, no. 'Cause he just can't seem to keep himself out of trouble. Another motherfucker lying in the gutter. Scummy bummy bottom feeders. I also just heard bullet to the brain. Feeling she's not the victim. They weren't being persecuted. Divine Feminine and her children were being attacked and targeted, and they were being persecuted, so they left. And they continued to be persecuted as punishment for leaving and escaping the abuse. But you see a lot of times Catholics and Mormons and people like that, they don't believe in divorce. So they think people that have the strength and the bravery to walk away from abuse are bad, they're ungodly. So they try to persecute us. You see? And punish us for leaving when they're actually being Judases and Jezebels. And then, instead of taking accountability for what they did, they just try to go pray it away at the church, as if that's going to fix the problem. Please, God, forgive me for my sins and holding hostages and abusing divine feminine and creating trauma in victims, because I don't want to have to take accountability for that while they're still doing all of those things actively. You're not sorry. You're just sorry you got caught. God is not going to spare you from consequences of actions you are still committing. You're delusional. And frankly, I'd say retarded. I do genuinely mean mental retardation. This is not normal behavior. There's something wrong with you. And I do find it quite funny because these are the exact same types of people who've been trying to, as I heard another reader put on it, today, was it Mami Wata? I think it might have been Mami Wata. They've been trying to put the stamp of mental illness on you for a long time. Yeah. These are people who try to call us mentally ill for walking away from their abuse. When we are triggered because they're being abusive, or when we stand up for ourselves, when we leave, since they don't believe in divorce, they think we're wrong. You're mentally ill because, no, you are. Look at what you're doing. We're allowed to be disgusted by you. You're not allowed to be disgusting like that. It's unethical, it's ungodly, and frankly, it's illegal on the human plane. Say less. You're not the victim. She does not understand the sense of an ordeal. Let me make it real clear for you, ma'am. 151:22. Going astray. That's why God's not answering her calls or prayers. Whether she goes to the church or not, God will not be there. So now they're going to be punished for being persecutory. Indifferent, emotional coldness, evil forces, living by, Divine Masculine says you'd think she'd be able to empathize with Divine Feminine, right? As a woman, as a mother, except for she's karmic, so she doesn't. And that's the whole point. That's why she picked a rapist and enabled them. An abuser. Somebody they know has issues. Somebody they know they enable because they've confessed it out loud before, but they still do it. Living by illicit means, acting illegally, delinquent, criminal, reaping the benefits of violence. Okay, and so let's say that a Divine Feminine walked away from a karmic male because he was abusive and she took her children with her. And so the grandparents could no longer see the child because they enable their son, and Divine Feminine knew that none of them were safe as a result to be around. And so they have motive. The karmic male's mother has motive to lie under oath to a judge to try to help him get access to the victims again, or at least the child, both. Because she wants to see the child, and she doesn't have, in some states they don't have grandparent rights. She doesn't have those rights. We're not in the state that she's in. So she had to go through her son to do it, you see, legally speaking. You might not know that. In the state of Maine, there are no grandparent rights. Not like that. So, and not just Maine, but as an example, there are a number of them. If that's the case, karmic male loses access to a Divine Feminine and her children because he's abusive, then the grandparents are upset at their son because he has done things to push her away, cause her to have to escape and run away. But instead of being upset at him, they try to take it out on her. And so the karmic male's father pays for whatever strings to be pulled in order to try to bully things back in their favor, or in their favor in general. And the karmic mother sits there and pretends to be a nice fake Catholic and lies under oath, and I swear to tell the truth, while lying through her teeth. $154.22. Okay? So she didn't care that her son was abusive. Then neither of them did. His parents did not care that he was causing harm, because they were benefiting from it. As long as he was causing harm to Divine Feminine and kidnapping her kids, they got to see the kids. So they didn't care that it was illegal or abusive. They were getting what they wanted out of it. They were just going through a rapist and a domestic abuser to do it. Sounds not so very Catholic of you, actually. Actually, you know what? I take that back. Think of all of the persecution throughout the Catholic Church. All of the sexual assault and all of the deviance. That sounds right up the Catholic Church's alley, in fact. Enough of that. Taking what doesn't belong to them. You know, they had to apologize. The Pope apologized for raiding someone else's country, killing their people, and trying to steal their land. Which one was it? Somewhere overseas. I have to remember about this one. Armenian, or no, if it wasn't Armenia, it was something like that. It was a genocide. They were thieves and murderers and rapists. Congratulations. You didn't change. So that's all I have to say about that. July 17th to July 22nd. April 13th, June 27th, September 10th, November 22nd, January 31st, 7:40 a.m. to 7:50 a.m. Yeah. Divine Masculine says she's not a Divine Feminine. She put Divine Feminine in warrior mode. She made Divine Feminine go to battle against her abusive, bully-ass son. What kind of man is that? You think you're raising a man, dude? What are you doing? You're helping him target women and children. And you wonder why he's a shitbag? I don't. I'm not confused, lady. Anyway, crazy pants. These people are nuts. Get grips. Plural. I hear they can't. They're incapable. Well, I think, like I said, there's some kind of mental retardation here. In fact, in some cases, after they kidnapped children, and those children started to naturally spiral after being kidnapped from their good mother, they decided that they were having such a hard time that the best option for them was just to lock the child up and isolate them in a mental hospital, instead of just sending them home to mom, where they would not be traumatized and mom could heal what damage had already been done. You'd think, but they're not logical or rational people. They're selfish. Even at the expense of children. Unawakened. So there's that. If you fuck with children, you're going to get the hellfire karma. And frankly, an earful from me. More than likely. Don't do it. 10 out of 10, don't recommend. So here are my cards. I'm going to read on them. Here you go. Although, just to be clear, I do not give people permission to read on me. Anybody trying to pull on me or read on me, you don't have the authority. You're catching karma for doing so more than likely you're getting false or decoy information, or you're reading on yourself and don't know it because you think you're asking questions about me, except for if anything comes back, it's the universe telling you you're a piece of shit, so stop projecting. Bye. 158.22. But since you're not actually tapped in, you don't have the discernment or qualifications to know that, do you? I do. In both accord. Spiritual communication. Because I don't have to fake anything. Inspiring meditation. Knowledge of abstract science and philosophy. Interested in spiritual life and teaching. fascinated by the contemplation of higher worlds, mysticism, loving solitude and meditative states, facilitating communication with the divine. Super excited to be almost done with this reading. Somebody says, what? Because I have much better things I would like to be doing. This is important, but I don't know. I don't like these people. Get out of my space. I'll clear them out, but eternal youth, beauty, grace, refinement, hospitality, warm welcome, artistic and aesthetic talents, celebrity, prestige, freshness, candor of childhood. I hear I'm gonna make you celebrity overnight. Interesting. Okay. Freshness, candor of childhood. There's inner child healing happening too, actually. You know what? That's funny. Minnie Mouse. Oh yeah. This just fell over. Healing, legitimate successor. You know what that could mean? The person who's fit to hold a trust or have custody of a child. Synchronicity. There's your synchronicity. And stability. And I'm going to drop the mic on that. Let me give a little bit of love Reiki. I don't want to leave the energy like this. It was a lot heavy. Some of it. 120, 122. So let's clear the space. I'm going to light a bit of sage. There's a karmic who's trying to laugh and mock. But it's out of fear or jealousy, so it just shows me where they are. So I know that there's nothing to be laughing at here. They're in huge trouble. So either they're delusional or they're really scared and they're trying to project the tough guy act. Dark magic shit, yeah, because they're spelled, they know this dark energy is backfiring. They try to compete by doing the most, but they can't keep up. Yeah, I told you. They're also trying to do that thing, I've been picking this up, where it's like they try to project out these thought waves or these commands and demands, and they want us to believe it's our own intuition or either like a divine call or something. Basically, these people they want me to shut up and be quiet, and they want me to feel like I'm gonna regret speaking the truth, but God is calling me to speak. They're so mad at the words that I'm speaking or the tone of my voice, but I've been channeling for 163 minutes and 15 seconds on this live, okay? It's a channel. You don't have to like it, but you do have to bite it. You're not mad at me. I'm the messenger. You're mad at God and God's message, but I'm the closest thing to human touchable, visible, hearable source of divinity that you can access as somebody who is so disconnected from the divine, not connected at all to the divine. I'm the personification of it to you. I get that. And so for you, I'm the closest target. When you're mad at God, I am the closest target for you to God or that reminds you of God. And I get it. But you know there's karma for trying to shoot the messenger, right? Rhetorical question. The answer is yes. Actually, in the next video I have to do, there's already a post. It's a Benson Boone video. It's Cry. Go ahead and ruin someone. Cry, cry. Go ahead and ruin someone else's life. Yeah, no. 1:11 on the clock. Go bug someone else, he said, so I can sleep at night. But no, don't go bother other people. Told you, they're spooked. He's not delusional, he's scared. They're acting unbothered, that fake tough guy act, but the truth is they're shaking. It's out of jealousy or fear, I said. This fear. Ooh, he's nervous, like quaking in his boots. His knees are shaking a little bit, or at least that's the energy. Someone's doing you wrong. This is why Divine Masculine said that. Keep her pretty name out of your dirty, rotten mouth. Steady throwing shade and having your name in their mouth. That's why he said that. That's why this Karmic is scared, because this was so spot on. He's scared. Divine Masculine and Feminine have teamed up, the Karmic says. He's scared. 165:22. And 1:11 still on the clock. Yes, you do not lose hope. You will not have to deal with this for much longer. This cycle's ending. Guardians are there by your side to assist. And now I know that there are spiritual energies, but I also am picking up real human soul family coming through, support networks. They'll humiliate themselves. And I think I wrote about that or spoke about that, if not in the community board. Where did I post about that? Over the last 12 hours. I think it was today. 24 hours, I think might have been a post yesterday, but these, all of them. Like, how embarrassing for you, how shamefully embarrassing for you. Joke's on you. Not my circus, not my monkeys. Trying to get a hold of you through a fake number. Now, if I don't want people in my life, I straight up just change my number. It's not even a matter, because if people want to call you, when you block them, they can call you. They just find a new phone to use. But if you change your number, they can't do that. Think smarter, not harder. So there's that one. Secondarily. Work smarter, not harder, right? But yeah, also, this might be about the fake accounts. Block them. Fake opportunists. These are people who watch others. They're not fake opportunists. They are opportunists. They are fake people who are opportunists. They try to watch other people to see what they can copy or steal from those people. That's why they're fake. Because they're trying to embody something that's not themselves, or the persona or essence of someone else, or life of someone else that's not their own. But the opportunist part is the fact that they decided they saw somebody that they thought had a nice, sparkly, shiny life, and they wanted it, and they tried to take it. There's a difference between criminals that are opportunists and then criminals that have some kind of premeditated, formed plan. Sometimes it's both. Sometimes criminals will look for an opportunity to target somebody, like on the long con. 168:22. But often opportunists, they might not have gone out planning to commit a crime that day, but let's say they see somebody, just a random example I'm getting a vision of, that's left their bike sitting next to a store while they ran into the store for a second, and this person thinks that because nobody's looking, they can just take the bike, and because they impulsively think that they can and they want it in that moment, they do. That's an opportunist. Now, where it's both is somebody might have been trying to find a bike for themselves, but they didn't want to go about doing so legally or fairly or honestly, so they might have gone around town looking for somebody who had left a bike out. That's where it's kind of both. But the people where it's premeditated, that's when it's like somebody breaks up with somebody, and here, I've got a case for you. I saw this a few years back. This actually happened. There was a woman, I think, and she left this man, and he did not want to take no for an answer. He did not want her to leave. And he was also mad that she was moving on with her life. So he went and he bought a gun, a couple of them, in fact, and this was over the course of 3 days. He tried to argue that it was a crime of passion, crime of opportunity, crime of passion, but it wasn't. He went to the shop and then picked up this ammunition and then went back home, and I think he went back for 3 days in a row before he finally acted this out. I'm like, it took him 3 days to organize this. That is not a crime of opportunity. That is not a crime of passion. Crime of passion would be like, oh, you know, I heard that the other week. What's that called? Whiskey lullaby. In this video, a soldier comes home early from the war, and he doesn't expect to find his wife in bed in his house that he's paying for with his military salary with another man, but she is, while he was on leave. And if he were to have attacked the man he found in his marital bed after walking through the front doors to surprise his wife after coming home from the war early, or just at all, that would have been theoretically, technically, potentially, legally considered a crime of passion. Especially if he had in combat trauma. But no, these people were doing this was a long con. This was a long con here. As far as the stuff with the court cases go, I mean, they had to plan to organize funds, and they had to, as a family, they had to discuss it, mom and the dad and the Karmic son, and then they had to go and try to recruit a lawyer, and they paid those funds, and there were days, weeks, months, sometimes between court cases. There was so much time, and there were so many opportunities to say, hey, you know, I messed up, or hey, I shouldn't have been enabling my son, or this wasn't honest, or even going to the authorities and saying, hey, he lied to me about this, but they didn't. They kept doubling down on it because they were benefiting from it financially and socially. I was ready to drop the mic. Boy, you should have shut your mouth. Cause I'm not gonna let the devil win, no never. And I'm not gonna let the devil in, no never. If you're feeling worried, that's the devil at work. I swear to God, I'ma put him in the dirt. It's happening for you, not to you. These people are caught. And some of them are possessed in this dark energy. You're either calling on these dark energies or influenced in this jealousy, this toxic energy. But like I said, God's got the whole universe, the whole world in his hands. The universe is holding it, handling it right now. So pay attention to the signs. See what needs to be done next. Is there anything else you'd like us to know? Yeah, they've been trying to set people up. I already know. In fact, I've been picking up the last couple of days. They desperately, it's like they've been stalking a light worker. Let's say it's a divine feminine, stalking her to try to find something they can try to twist out of context because they so desperately want to try to smear her as dangerous or bad or this or that or criminal because they want to have her falsely arrested again. Because they think that that will either put her away or hurt her or give somebody the opportunity to take her out or maybe just shut her up and nobody will listen. And therefore, if they can spin that smear campaign, then nobody will care about the fact that she's telling the truth about their crimes or that they're trying setups or that they've been lying. And therefore, they will be able to continue getting away with what they've been doing and then doing more of it. That's what they're trying to do. It's a discrediting tactic or an attempt to actually physically entrap or shut the victim up, put them in a place where they can't publicly speak up about things. I know what you're doing. I know what you wanted to do. See, as far as these dirty cops go, because one of the things that they like to do is try to recruit dirty cops or dirty officials to do it. Like, these people know, they know it's wrong. Some of these people, they're either into dark practicing themselves, like Freemason kind of, like Freemason, Eastern Stars, that kind of a stuff, or, which around here, the local police have been running, frankly, 122 here on the clock on the East Coast. I hear judges in their pocket, dirty judges in their pocket, yeah. That too. Sometimes they just don't like, maybe they're misogynistic. It's not that it's not the truth, but they don't like the fact that it's coming from a woman, or they don't like the fact that she believes in spirituality, or they don't like the fact that she sternly stands up for herself when nobody else did, because they find that too masculine and they feel emasculated as if that's her problem that they're bitch made. Get real. You're not gonna bully people, especially women and children, to make yourself feel like a big man. That's pathetic. 176:22. Do you feel like a man when you push her around? Do you feel better now when she falls to the ground? Well, I'll tell you, my friend, today your world's come to end. As your lies tumble down, a new life she has found. So we're done. We're done with you, Karmics, all of you. I'm so ready to be done with this reading. Do you hear me just speeding through it? You guys suck. All of you. You fucking suck. I told you. The death magic. I posted about that this morning in the community board. He's going to end up somewhere, I said. Rest in peace. Yeah, they'll go missing once shit hits the fan and you find out it was them. We already know. We already know who it is. And thank you, God, for exposing anything and anyone else that needs to be exposed. Any deception, any theft, any plagiarism, anything that needs to be exposed so that we can release these people and situations, anything that's causing blockages, so we can move forward, continue to grow. These haters have a daily routine of performing bad spell work on you. I know. It's not bad as in damaging. It's bad as in, well, they're trying to play with dark magic, first of all, but they're not powerful. And frankly, even the ones that think that they are, the people that they're trying to target and take out are much stronger. You know, what I lack in brawn, I make up for in brains. Brains are the new tits, and frankly, I might be small in frame, but my spirit will crush yours. Thank you. Do I want to? No. But never forget that you walk amongst giants. And that's all I have to say about that. They plan to poison or spell work your food, inviting you somewhere to a party to eat. Beware of eating food from others. You know what's funny? Is I put something somebody gave me in the trash this morning. First thing I did when I woke up. I didn't touch it. I knew something was off with it. Somebody says, I don't believe you, really? Attempted Valentine's gift with an old orange peel. You don't believe me? Okay, bye. You're a trash bag. The fact that you needed evidence of trash is, well, reminiscent of who you are. And your rank in spirit, which is zilch. Basura. Hashtag garbage can't. Capital CAN. Lowercase t. Anything else you'd like us to know about the false setups and false arrest stuff I was picking up? Evil spells. Always make it make sense. Look at the situation from every angle. Yeah, see, their stories aren't adding up. Their math isn't mathing because they're lying. And this is take a break, spend time with yourself, pamper yourself, etc. Told you. Someone you know is trying to cause chaos, conflict spells in your love life. This could be an ex, family, etc. Or someone close to you. Throwing spell work at your front, using oils, powders, dusts. Make sure to cleanse your dwelling. Yeah, but I also picked up that the truck that drove by last night was trying to play with some spell work too, or their energy was just full of black magic, just nasty, gossip, slander, evil, hatred, cruelty. Yeah, I told you. I told you. 18122. Hackers, gang stalkers, white-collar criminals, doppelgangers assigned to bring you down by any means necessary. Yeah, it's not working. But now everybody knows what they're doing. And you know what? The cop I spoke to last night sounded really disappointed that they were doing this and also sounded really sad for me. Either that or he's one of the dirty ones and he knows because it is what it is and I'm on point and there's no hiding this that he's in trouble with them. But either way, you all are fucked. But I'm picking up that this one really was genuinely upset. Old frenemy or enemy is upset about some old shit that happened in the past. Yeah. Like, you think that's stalking me? Get over it! It's the best idea. You're nuts, bitch. Yeah, and I'm about to go. Wash my face and take care of the rest of my day. In fact, I think I'm actually just going to run through the shower. I already did this morning. I've already showered, but I think I might go take another one after this. This is yuck. Your energy is garbage. In fact, that's exactly what I'll be doing. Yeah, they want you feeling moody, hopeless, desperate, sad, depressed, want you to unalive yourself. No. No. That's your energy, though. It's heavy, isn't it? Like I said earlier, I heard the word bullet to the brain, and it was a karmic to themselves. This is why they're wanting to project that out. They want to die. If we don't take accountability for their crimes and we hold them accountable, they would rather die. Some of them. That's what I'm picking up. If we don't let them lie about us to try to make themselves look good, they would rather die. If they have to take accountability for what they've done to us, they would rather die. Because they're in trouble for doing this, but this is also what they want. They're still trying to do this, or they wanted to do this. For people just to be quiet, to bully people, whether it be spiritually or otherwise, into submission or silence, no. I already know who this is. I already know who this is. His birthday is April 21st, 1991. Or who's involved with the group doing it, because he recruited them. Yep. And also that was reported last night too. Because the second vehicle started, the phone started having glitches as well. The very second. Like their energy was so putrid that it affected the device. Or this is one of those people who has one of those, it's like a Wi-Fi cell phone blocker device. They're not legal to get for civilians. The agencies like the FBI and I think police have systems like that too. Like if there's a hostage situation, they have devices that they can tap into certain lines, and let's say somebody's holding up a bank, they can get a line in, or even if it's a cell phone or something, they can find a way to get a line in to communicate with them some way. Or in some cases, if they're trying to block communication from a criminal, if they are trying to raid a building or a gang or something, they may have devices where they can block the signals. I don't know all of the details or information about it, but I know that certain agencies use them, and I know that they're not legal. You're not supposed to get them or be able to get them, but some people do. Don't know if it's on the black market or where else, but some of them have been doing this. Some of these people involved in the stalking were also ex-military, so if it's not that they know about those things from the military, then they had access to certain equipment or technology that they shouldn't be playing with, or that they certainly shouldn't be using like they have been, whether they're out or not. But they did. And again, whether their energy was so foul that it tossed a glitch to the device, or they were using some kind of equipment, I noticed. And now there's record of that in the government. Told you. Your spirit team, ancestors, animals are showing you dreams. Told you. Signs, visions about your haters. Pay close attention and keep a log of those warnings. And for these attacks also is sexual deviance. Sexual deviance is the motive, and then it's anger and aggression towards somebody who sets a boundary or is cognizant of it, and they need to knock people out unconscious to take advantage of them, or try to hurt them to the point where they're delirious, dissociating to the point where they just can't even regulate or take care of themselves because they think that person is more vulnerable to attack at that point. They're trying to weaken the opponent. And you're a piece of shit for trying. Like I said, they've been sending death spells, and they've been sending health spells, or they've been wishing harm on people, and that's why he's going to end up somewhere. Rest in peace. Yeah, I know. Trying to attack. It's a rapist. This is an incubus, succubus spirit. It's a spiritual rapist. They try to suck the life and the energy out of people. Your spirit team sees all the bad things that they're doing and is not pleased. I told you, haters have a price to pay. This one is going to knock you out. And you won't make it back up. Please help me chop this tree down. Hold pulled me from underneath. Words never once cut me down until MGM Truth bombed me. Hi, pretty boy. Can I see you? Oh, honey bunny, I love you. Down by the grave that the lawman paved, where the down by the grave where that the lawman laid, where the gravel got paved. Finally, I'm saved. There it is. Somebody's asking, what is that? It's Kobe, Cry for Me, I believe. Down by the grave that the lawman laid, where the gravel got paved. Finally, I'm saved. Yeah, I told you. Crooked cops target you. They're trying to set you up to get you locked up. Some of them pretend to be law enforcement, but they're not. I told you. And why would they be doing that unless they're really nervous? Either because a light worker seems to be getting better and or they're catching their karma really bad right now, or both. They think that they can buy themselves more time to hurt a victim or get themselves out of their crimes, or they think they've gotten away with it and they have more time, which is why they've started up the bullshit again. In some cases, I've been picking up two things. On the spiritual note, we're moving into a Mercury retrograde. That's also when the karma comes back for these people. Lessons come back. It's not a lesson, it's a punishment. Karma's here to teach you how you made someone else feel what you did to another. So, and this is not for those situations where karmics feel slighted. Like they feel slighted when someone stands up for themselves. They feel slighted when someone calls them out, but they don't think that other people have the right to feel slighted when they do whatever grimy things that they're doing, which require people to clap back and call them out in the first place. They don't think they're wrong for causing problems, but they think we're wrong for finishing them or standing up for ourselves or speaking up. And that's their narcissism. That's their personal issue. That's not our problem. It's their personal pickle, frankly. An ex, probably an ex. Trying to perform hexes to cause you to fail at your business, lose a job, chaos at your job, anything that pertains. I told you, it's the chaos, magic, and conflict spells, and the plagiarizers just picked up on it. If they weren't directly involved and they just picked up on the energy because they were already in it, just like the locals who tried it, just like the locals who called for it. 192.22. I'm going to drop the mic right there. Please remember to pray. Do no harm, take no crap, and I'll catch you on the next one. Blessings and namaste. Toodles.